Welcome to DCE Digital Learning. I am Taramani S, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, GFGC, Peenya, Bangalore. This is session number 1 in Unit 3 of the subject Accounting and Financial Management, the subject prescribed for 3rd semester BCA. In this session, let us learn about the theoretical aspects of Bill of Exchange. First of all, the meaning and definition of Bill of Exchange. We know already, in business, there can't be always cash sales. There has to be credit sales also, so that business can happen and sales can increase. So in order to ensure that seller will be selling so many times goods on credit, and in that case he will be allowing a period of credit, so that the purchaser will be paying the amount of credit after a particular period of time. So to have a proof that we have sold goods on credit to that particular purchaser, and so that he has to make payment after a particular period, and there should not be any default in payment, and even if there will be default, there has to be some proper proof regarding the default also. There will be some document in writing which we do call a negotiable instrument, and that negotiable instrument is what we call a bill of exchange. So with that background, we can learn now properly the definition of the bill of exchange. As per the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881, a bill of exchange is defined as an instrument in writing. That means it can't be in verbal or oral. It has to be it is a document in writing, because there has to be some proof for the same. Then it containing an unconditional order, that it is an order that is made by the seller, that is he has to pay the money to the seller, and signed by the maker. Who is the maker of this instrument? That is the bill. The person who is selling goods on credit, that is a seller, so it has to be signed by him. Then directing a certain person to pay a certain sum of money only. That means the seller is directing a particular person, and that particular person is none other than the person who has purchased goods on credit from the seller, and it is a direction given to that particular person only to pay a certain sum of money only. That means the amount to be paid is not, it can't be vague. It has to be certain or to the order of a person. That means in case on the date of maturity of the bill, in case the holder of that bill or the owner of the bill is some other person, it is an order by the seller to act as per the order of that particular person or to the bearer of the instrument. Bearer means the holder of the instrument. So whoever will be the holder of the instrument on the date on which the purchaser has to make payment, the purchaser has to adhere to the instructions of that particular holder, and to that person only he has to pay the amount written on the bill. So this is what is defined as per the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881. So as per this definition, we can make a list of the features of the bill of exchange, like it has to be in writing, yes, and it is an order to make payment. It is not a request, it is an order made by the seller to the purchaser to make payment, and the order to make payment is unconditional. That means there should not be any conditions attached to it. That means whatever may happen, the amount has to be paid on this bill, and the maker of the bill of exchange must sign it. That is, the drawer has to sign on the bill of exchange, and the payment to be paid must be certain. That means the amount of payment must be certain and it can't be vague, and the date on which payment is made must also be certain. That means both the parties will be knowing in advance, that is the date on which payment will be made, and it is very much well known to both the parties of the bill of exchange. That is the person who is writing the bill that is the seller, and the person who on whom the bill is written, that is the purchaser. And the amount must be payable to a certain person, not to anybody. That will be mentioned there in the bill of exchange. And the amount mentioned in the bill of exchange is payable either on demand or on the expiry of a particular period of time. So it will be mentioned when it has to be paid. Is it a bill on demand, or is it a bill that is regarding which the amount has to be paid after the expiry of a particular period, and it has to be stamped. So we understood this bill of exchange comes into existence in case of credit sales, and it is drafted by the seller who sells goods on credit, and it is an order by the seller to the purchaser to make payment on a particular date, a particular amount, a particular person. So now let us understand who will be the parties to this bill of exchange. There are three parties to this bill of exchange, right? First one is drawer, second one is drawee, third one is the payee. Who is this drawer? The person who draws this bill of exchange, that is who prepares or writes this bill of exchange, is called the drawer. And this drawer is the person who will be the owner of this bill, and he is the person who has to receive the amount written on the bill of exchange. Then who is this drawee? Drawee is a person on whom the bill of exchange is drawn. That is none other than the person who has purchased goods on credit, and he is the person who has to make payment. Then payer, payee. Payer means the person who has to pay. In the same way, payee is a person who is a person entitled to receive the payment. That means the person who receives the payment. And in the ordinary circumstances, the drawer of the bill will be the payee. That means drawer is a seller, right? So he is a person who has to receive the money on the bill of exchange. So in the ordinary circumstances, drawer and payee will be the same person. But in certain circumstances, drawer need not be the payee. That means he may not be the person who has to receive the amount on the bill of exchange. So what are those circumstances? So two circumstances are shown in the slide: when the bill is discounted and when the bill is endorsed. So what is meant by discounting of the bill of exchange? See, the bill is drawn today and the period of credit is 2 months. So as soon as the bill is drawn, there is some emergency need of cash for the drawer. But in that case, he can't ask or request the drawee to make payment on that day itself, because as per the bill of exchange, time is already granted to him, that is for a period of 2 months. So in this case, what this drawer will do is, he will consult his banker, he will sell this bill of exchange to his banker, and he will get the amount written on the bill of exchange less some interest. That interest is what we call discount. So in that case, as soon as the bill is discounted by the drawer with his banker, now the banker will be the owner of the bill. So in this case, the person who is receiving the amount on the bill of exchange will not be the drawer of the bill, but the banker. In the same way, when the bill is endorsed by the drawer to his creditors, endorsement means transferring of the bill of exchange from person to person. And in this case, drawer is the original owner of the bill. And in case he has to settle some amount to his creditor, one of his creditors, he can do one thing. Instead of paying it in cash or check, he can do one thing. He can endorse, that means transfer ownership of this bill in favor of that creditor, in favor of his creditor. In that case, he will not be, the drawer will not be remaining now the owner of the bill. And the person who is endorsing this bill is whom do we call endorser. And the person to whom the bill is endorsed is called as the endorsee. So in this case, drawer will be the endorser and his creditor in favor of whom the bill is endorsed is called as the drawee, is called as the endorsee. Endorsee. So in this case, the original owner who was the drawer will not be the holder of the bill on the date of maturity. So in this case, the person who is entitled to receive the amount on the date of maturity will be the endorsee, that is the creditor of the drawer. So in that case, he has to receive the amount on the due date. Then, why is this bill of exchange required? That is what we call need of the bill of exchange. There are various points here, like why do we require this bill of exchange? First reason is it is helping us a lot in case of credit transactions, that is credit sales and credit purchases. If it is not there, definitely credit transactions it can't happen. And one more thing is, in case the credit transactions can't be there, means sales will decrease. And then it is a legally valid document, because when we are selling goods on credit, it means we have to have a valid document which is a proof for the transaction. And in case the seller requires immediate cash on this bill, he can discount the bill with his banker, and it can be endorsed in favor of some other person to whom he is owing some money, that is the drawer of the bill, and he need not send reminders, reminding him that you have to pay on this date, something like that. This drawee will be knowing the date already, like the date on which he has to pay, and it assures the seller about the timely recovery of debt. That means normally, in the normal circumstances, the amount on this bill will be paid by the drawee. So there are various types of bills. There are some 8 types of bills. It is as good as just knowing the names of this bill of exchange, and you don't have anything in detail here except this trade bills, because whatever we study here, it's all regarding trade bills. And you have one more topic here, like accommodation bills, regarding which also you have to solve problems, that is past journal entries. But for the meaning's sake, we can go ahead with all these different types of bills. First of all, the documentary bill of exchange. It is a bill whose where the relative shipping documents are sent along with the bill of exchange. All the relative shipping documents will be sent documents along with this bill of exchange. Demand bill means a bill where whenever this bill is presented for payment, that is demanded, the amount has to be paid. Then usance of the bill, usance bill, it is a bill which is payable sometime in future. Then inland bills, it is a bill where both the parties to a bill of exchange, that is the drawer and the drawee, are residing in the same country. Then foreign bill is opposite of that. It is a bill where both parties to the bill of exchange, that is a drawer and drawee, are residing in different countries. And one more, you have clean bill. Here the document of title to goods is not accompanied. Then accommodation bill, you have regarding which you have to pass journal entries, you have problems, I told. And it is a bill that is drawn and accepted without any consideration. The reason being just for financial assistance of one of the parties to the bill of exchange, or for mutual accommodation. And all the things that we study here is purely regarding trade bill. That means there is a trading transaction, and to settle that trade transaction, we draw a bill, that is the drawer, and that is what do we call a trade bill. And certain important concepts are there which you have to study and learn regarding this bill of exchange. Tenor of the bill or term, it means the period of credit. It can be 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. That is depending upon the agreement between the seller and the purchaser, the period of credit granted by the seller. Then date of maturity of the bill. Yeah, it is a thing like consider today there is a credit sales transaction and the pay and the tenor of the bill is 1 month. So soon after 1 month he need not pay, that is the purchaser, he need not pay the amount of the bill. From today plus 1 month plus 3 days. On the third day he has to make the payment. That 3 days is what we call grace days. So we will be adding 3 grace days whatever is the tenor of the bill. So here there is an example given. See, March 5th. March 5th is the date of the transaction, and the tenor of the bill or term of the bill is 3 months. Sorry, it is 1 month. Okay, 30 days after date. So March 30 days means April. So April 5th will be 1 month period, exactly 1 month period. But that is not the maturity date. We have to add 3 days. This is what we call grace days. So the third day from March 5th add 30 days, that is 1 month plus 3 days. So March 8th will be the due date of the bill or maturity date of the bill. But there are 2 exceptions to this. In case March 8th, in case April 8th is a public holiday, what happens is that maturity date will be on April 7th itself. If it is a very well-known public holiday, like maybe some Diwali or some other festival, something like that. In case it is a known public holiday, the previous day itself will be the date of maturity. That means on April 7th only he has to make the payment. But in case we were not knowing it earlier, like April 8th is a holiday, but it is declared just the previous day, like the next day is a holiday, something like that. In that case, that due date will be the next working day. That means April 9th will be the date of maturity. And bill at sight and on demand. Bill at sight and on demand are bills of exchange which are payable immediately on the presentation of the bill to the drawee. So as soon as the bill is presented for payment, the amount has to be paid. And in this case, time is not specified in the bill of exchange. It is a period of credit and no grace days. That is what I told just now, like 3 days, that is also not allowed. Then bills after date. This is a normal bill. Here the period of credit will be specified, and after the expiry of that particular period only he has to pay the amount, and the period of the bill is counted from the date of drawing of the bill. So as I told in the previous example, as is given in the previous slide, March 5th, right? March 5th was the date of the transaction. So from that March 5th we start counting days. So 1 month means April 5th. 3 days means April 8th, like that. So and in this case grace days, that is 3 days, will be allowed. Then negotiation. Negotiation means transferring of the instrument, that is the ownership of the instrument. It is possible. Negotiation of an instrument, and bill of exchange is a negotiable instrument. It can be transferred from person to person. Then noting and protest. See, there are 2 consequences of drafting the bill. On the maturity date, it may be honored or dishonored. Honoring of the bill of exchange means the bill is presented for payment on maturity date by the drawer to the drawee. But there are two circumstances. The drawee may pay the bill on the bill of exchange promptly. In that case, we do call it as honored. Bill is honored. But in case he is refusing to make the payment, this is what we call dishonoring of the bill of exchange. So in that case, what the drawer has to do, he has to pay some fees, that is what we call noting charges, and it has to the notary public, and it will be noted upon the instrument or upon a paper attached to it that the bill of exchange is dishonored. And for the time being, the drawer of the bill has to pay this fees to the notary public, and this is what we call noting charges. And this, what is protest? It is an official certificate given, certificate of dishonor given by the same notary public to the holder of a dishonored bill. Holder of a dishonored bill, certifying that the bill is dishonored. So in this entire session, we have learnt what is bill of exchange, meaning, definition, and based upon the definition of the bill of exchange, we learnt about its features and three parties to the bill of exchange, like drawer, drawee, and payee. And why do we require this bill of exchange? And almost some 8 types of bills. We understood the meaning and certain important concepts of bill of exchange. So bill of exchange is a must in case of credit sales, so that there is a proof for both the parties to the bill of exchange that there has happened a transaction between them. And in case you want to refer some more information on this topic, you can refer this book, Basic Accounting by B.S. Raman. Thank you.